lead together, embrace change, enhance everyone's journey. The 3 core principles of SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate across North America, reinforce why we're proud to bring you SheEO Lead-In, the podcast featuring curated conversations with powerful women sharing their impactful wisdom. It's a self-knowledge, self-discovery, and self-preneurship audio storage vault created by and for women. SmartStop's presentation of SheEO Lead-In begins right now.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Leading-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO Lead-In. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. Today, we're here with Nancy Luterno, the founder and CEO of Mainly Mozart. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Great. Well, I'm very excited to hear more about what you do every day. Does your job, does it require you to be very flexible, or is it that every single day you have exactly the same schedule?
Oh, no, it is absolutely not even similar day to day.
Well, explain it. Tell me what that looks like.
Partly when you're in the performing arts, a lot of things change, a lot of things go wrong. We have to be very adaptable. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I'll name an industry I know nothing about. It's not like running a bank.
Right.
That behaves the same way, whether it's COVID, whether it's, we are constantly adapting. And sometimes it's a really heavy focus on fundraising. Sometimes the focus really shifts to events. Right now, we have a lot of events are going on every day. Everybody in the office is dead. But so there's a lot of variety. And a thing I love about doing what I do is that you can imagine something and then make it happen. So we're always kind of working and creating.
Well, I was just in New York this past weekend, and I watched Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
And then the Rockettes had their 100th anniversary.
Fun.
What an amazing time. And you know what? I was reminding myself, I need to do this more because it makes you feel good.
It does.
I think that people that's probably one of the things that you like most about your job is it makes you feel good when you see the performance come together.
It does. Well, and we know music changes your moods.
It does.
And it affects health. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of physiological reasons that you want to be around music, not just because, but it does. It makes us happy, or it makes us feel something. Yeah.
Well, I would say it's almost always good. Something is almost always good that comes from music.
It can be sad or melancholy or something, but it makes you feel.
Yeah, it does. It makes you feel. So do you have a fun short story that you wanted to share about your childhood? Something that maybe people don't know about you?
Oh, my God. There are probably a few things people don't know about me. I grew up in Imperial Beach.
Okay.
I went to Mar Vista High School, went to San Diego State. I was very active in politics. You know, I thought every family knocked on doors every Saturday. We did precinct walk. My mom and I went out walking precincts. I did that. And then I went into political campaigns through my early 20s.
Wow. So why were you involved with campaigns?
Well, I mean, our family was always very political and very interested. And later my dad became mayor of Imperial Beach more when he retired. But we were just we always cared about change.
Yeah.
And so I sort of didn't realize that everybody didn't behave that way. And then I majored in political science and went to Sacramento for a minute. And it ended up, my son, who also went to San Diego State, majored in political science. Neither one of us ended up there, but I think it's always been a love.
Nancy,
me.
there are people that still don't even vote. They are that apathetic.
I know.
I always tell people, hey, listen, if you care enough to complain,
Yeah.
care enough to be getting involved.
Absolutely.
Because that is really important. A lot of people, and I also say this often, we need more public servants and less politicians. We need people that are there for the right reasons, doing the work, and, doing it in a way that's bringing people together and not divisive. Anyway, do you have one word that describes you the best?
It depends if it's as mom or if it says, but I think I'm driven. I'm very driven. Mm-hmm. Very loyal. Can I have 2 words?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I love that.
If I have 5, I'll just keep going because I don't know.
You're so funny. So how long have you been in your current career?
37 years.
37 years. And then before that, you were in politics? Is that right?
Well, I did politics, and actually, it was through, do you know Jim Laslovic?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was working for a politician and called the San Diego Chargers and said, I want to hire Kellen Winslow. I think at first Jim had just arrived in San Diego. I didn't know him yet. But Jim ended up doing this commercial for the candidate that I was working for. We became very close friends. He and his wife and I became best of friends. And she was working at the San Diego Symphony as director of marketing.
Oh, wow.
So through the longer story, I ended up as director of PR and then PR and marketing when she left. Was at the San Diego Symphony for 6 years.
And then you started mainly.
And then went to university and then started mainly Mozart.
So tell me, what drove you to do that? Did you just see the need, or how did that work?
I wanted a change from what I was doing. I thought at age 24 that I was burnt out already, and your candidate wins, your candidate loses, and I didn't know that I was going from frying pan to fire because the arts is very challenging. And when I went to the symphony, they had a canceled season. There were lots of different kinds of challenges, but I was involved in the community. I think that's why I was hired, and I was ambitious, and I was taught very early not to let what you don't know stand in your way, because I didn't know anything.
Well, no, you just find people that will help you.
Yeah,
find people that will help you.
I've always said that I do the intelligent nod really, really well. And
good.
then I go figure it out, and I've done that my whole career.
So I think that kind of leads to the next thing, and that is all the information that you gather from other people. That's just learning. You're just continuing to learn.
Sure.
That's a normal thing. I would say even just, if you actually will take the time to ask questions and all of that and put everything together, you can make an informed decision, and then you can also bring things together.
100%.
And have your idea.
Yeah, I'm not a musician. That's very rare for somebody in my role. I've worked in the arts for more than 40 years.
Interesting.
But I know musicians. I know the best musicians. I know, who to look for the input that I need.
Well, I think a lot of it too is how does it all fit together too?
Yeah.
Because it's, so let's just talk a little bit about measuring success and failure. What do you think? I think sometimes you can judge other people's failures and make yourself more successful because you go, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not big on the idea of failure. I think it's just pick a different door.
Yeah.
And when somebody else, and it's, I guess, fail. If you run for office and lose, does that count as failing, or just maybe it wasn't your right time and you're intended to go elsewhere, do something different? For us, oh my gosh, if 10% of my ideas are good ones, I think I'm, brilliant and succeeding.
For sure. Definitely.
Because we have to, if you try something new, you are going to fail. And if you stop trying new things, that's the greater failure in my mind.
Well, yes, you have to have the courage to try things.
Right.
And, get outside of your comfort zone. If it's something that's never been done, why not?
Right.
Why can't it work?
Yeah.
Until it doesn't actually work, I think it's good to try it.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of our young people, I think, really miss that because they're too scared of actually failing.
Right.
And, you know, that's how we're going to end up as a society that just stops continuing to move forward. Fear gets in our
Innovating,
way.
yeah, jumping is succeeding.
Yes.
Innovating is succeeding. Where that goes almost doesn't matter. But sitting back, being afraid
And safe.
to jump, that's failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So let's talk a little bit about, and I think this is always cyclical myself, balancing work, work and home, and, you know, exercise, and, you know, all the things that make us feel good and keep us moving forward. How does that look for you? Probably different than when you had kids or when they were younger.
I think I've improved a lot. I think that I grew up, you know, I mean, remember even in middle school and high school, my mom would say, it's okay that you're doing these 8 different things, but do you have to be president of all of them? Like, do you have to be the leader? And I sort of never knew how not to.
Right.
And I think I hit real burnout about 10 years ago, where I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't go on. I hadn't figured out. And I took a 3-month sabbatical that a foundation funded. That's getting to be more of a thing where foundations are realizing that, in this case, nonprofit CEOs are leaving the industry because of the stress.
Yeah.
So I did it, and that really let me catch my breath. And I think part of the trick is catching your breath. I'm much more balanced now. So I actually do have something to say to the question.
Great.
10 years ago, I was just, the before case. I was a real believer that you have to be in the office, you have to walk to school in the snow, barefoot, and all of that, and you go to work with pneumonia and
you suck it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the era.
Yes.
Partly.
Yes, I agree.
And probably being a woman felt a bit more of a need to behave that way, perhaps. And COVID, having people go home, was unimaginable for me, because you can't possibly be effective from home, until I realized that we could be. So it really forced a change in my thinking and my own, and my ability to be aware of it for my staff. I need to be more balanced. So I do my exercise regularly. I schedule that in. I try to make sure that staff has room to have work balance while still doing really, really demanding jobs at a very high level.
Yeah.
So I'm better.
Well, and I think that's part of the innovation too, is we learned that there is a different way to do things. And being refreshed, I think, of course, helps us do better at what we're doing every day.
Yes.
But how sad would it have been if you hadn't had that time where you got the sabbatical and you just left?
Yeah.
Because you had so much more to contribute.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to go. I felt I was so, I had other things. I had a car accident and, some things. So I had physical issues too. And I just felt like I was faking it at work. I thought, oh my God, I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this. And that was what burnout looked like for me 10 years ago.
Right.
Then I took this rejuvenating time. Fieldstone Foundation does this grant program, and your phone number changes. You can't have, you are cut off.
Wow.
And they want you out of town for these 3 months. And if you're here and you have to walk past your office to go to where you get your hair cut, they say, go get your hair cut somewhere else. We want you really away. So I
disconnection.
And I journaled every day, and I did yoga every day. And
that is hardcore. I don't think I've ever heard of something like that.
No, it's terrifying, because you're so
terrifying, but awesome.
Awesome. Because it's hard to give yourself, I have trouble giving myself permission not to be productive. Like if you sleep in and you're going, it's whatever time I won't name it.
Yeah, right.
But I should be doing this. So I try to get rid of, I think that taught me to be a little better about getting rid of the shoulds. I should be doing this, thinking this, being this, So now, and to be more present. I'm not saying that I was really good back in 2016 when I came back, I was very zen. Now I'm a little more revved up, but I have continued, making sure that exercise is a part of my life and, in a really regular way. I tend to be a pretty healthy eater anyway, but I'm not a good sleeper. I would like to, because I can get more done if I just keep going through the night. And so that's a hard thing to tell myself, that sleep actually is what lets me get through the next day.
I love that. Let's take a pause for a smart stop, and we'll be right back after we hear about our amazing sponsor.
SmartStop knows the winning connection is when we elevate success together. SmartStop Self Storage, a California company with nearly 200 properties and over 15 million square feet of rentable storage in the US and Canada, is committed to positively impacting the communities we serve on the national and local level. By aligning our core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey with local initiatives focused on education, health, and social welfare, we all elevate together. Through financial and strategic partnerships with nonprofits and prestigious organizations such as Cloudcast Media, Arrow McLaren IndyCar, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, USC Athletics, the Brampton Steelheads, MMA fighters and boxers, and other unique athletes, we aim to foster a sense of unity and pride within the communities we serve, creating a shared identity and generating a positive atmosphere. To learn more about our core values, our locations, and career opportunities, please visit us at smartstopselfstorage.com. SmartStop, elevating success together.
So don't you think, though, having that pause, having that time brought you back to, and I have to say, it does sound a little terrifying with so much disconnection, but that it really led you back to a different place where you could do much, much more.
Can it be 1,000,000%?
Yeah.
Because I came back a really different, I came back able to do my job at the very top of my game.
You probably enjoyed it more too.
I made a lot of changes. I enjoyed it more. I was empowered again. I was just so exhausted and depleted, and for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
That
well, having a physical issue too, I think really that affects you more than most people actually, if they've never experienced it, that they know. I just don't think there's any way to judge exactly how it's going to affect you when something like that happens.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about you leading men in your career. Have you noticed any issues of there's a barrier, like they don't want to maybe follow your lead, or have you not really experienced that?
I can certainly say that over these many, many years, never at Mainly Mozart, I've never been aware of it at Mainly Mozart. Prior to Mainly Mozart, probably, I have just never considered it to be an issue. And I think the less I've considered it to be an issue, the less anyone else sees it as an issue.
Yeah.
We're just doing our job the best we can.
Yeah.
And if, I did have early in my career one pretty extreme situation, but that was resolved and we all moved on.
Was that harassment?
No,
or? Okay.
It wasn't. It was somebody, I was very young. I was my 26 maybe. And he was more toward retirement age, had been in business many, many years. Came in, I was director of one department, he was director of another. I went on vacation. He went to the CEO and said, I think this department should report to me. So when I came back, my assistant wrote me a letter, because at the time we didn't have, wrote me a letter and said, be aware, we now report to this man. And I came back and I said, I don't think we do. And by the time I left the office that day, 3 departments were now under me, including his. So I didn't play the game.
Yeah.
But I don't step back when I shouldn't step back. And in that case, it wasn't fair. It wasn't right.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty extraordinary. But if you had not had the courage, things would have been very different.
Right. You know, and I think my superpower in work is I don't take things personally. I never have. I don't really get my feelings hurt. I have found it easy to say, and I try to convey this to other women. It's really not personal. It's work. And we don't bring our emotions and our, with that, you can be calm and get a lot more done.
You have to be calm.
You
have to be calm.
Yeah.
You can't be emotional.
And you can't be emotional, and you can't, and it's not about, I hate this person or I hate this thing. No,
It can't be any part of
business.
It. Yep, that's right.
And I
agree.
think I have seen women sometimes do that less well than men in the workplace. And I think that I know I'm lucky because I never had to really work on making it feel, it has always just been easy for me somehow to not take things personally.
So did you have role models that helped you with this, or is it just something that you knew? Something that you felt inside that's how you should be?
I think that I was very much raised believing that I could do anything. And I was very much raised with a lot of support from my parents, feeling like...
So both of your parents, mom and dad, that you could do anything?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think...
So they're probably role models for you.
They're my biggest role models, yeah. In terms of, I don't know, role models in terms of looking at what they did and doing it their way. But, my mother, regardless of in what endeavor it was, she said, you're smart. You're smarter than, mothers. But
yeah.
And if it's something you want to do and somebody asks if you know how to do it, the answer is just yes. And then figure it out. And I have spent my whole career doing that. I'm not an expert in anything probably, but I'm a problem solver, and I'm a good thinker, and I'm a good listener, and I'm an innovator. And I'm pretty fearless. So I don't know much of anything. Like, don't put me in a what is it, like a trivia game?
Yeah.
No, I can't do any of that stuff. I don't remember things.
But you can manage people that will help you do
yeah.
it.
I can set up the party.
You can have a call.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I don't know facts. And if people say, what was that wonderful, the third piece that was played last night? I'll go, oh my God, I don't know. I'm thinking about next season. I have no idea so I do have trouble staying in the moment.
But you know the person to call to find out exactly what that is. And at the end of the day, you can't remember everything.
No, I don't try to.
Yeah.
I don't really try to. I know what I'm strong at. And remembering data is not my strength.
And that's good to know. I mean, you know what? If we paid attention more to the things that we were good at and excel at those, and then let go of the things and quit being hard on ourselves on the things that we're not good at, think of how much more we could do.
Right. Well, and empower people who are good at those things to do, because we all try to be good at the same thing.
Part of a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you all have your strengths. Yeah, I agree with that. So what are some lessons learned that you would share with other women that you think would be helpful for them to propel their careers forward?
I think that I hear a lot of young professionals, I'll say more than just women, maybe over-preparing, doubting themselves, figuring out, do I have to get this certificate in this class and take this? I think we should do a lot more. Get in front of people who can help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help and guidance. That's really important. When somebody calls me and says, I don't know where I'm going, I'd like just some, in my industry or not, I always appreciate the opportunity to talk to somebody. And usually I shouldn't say usually, that can be a lot more helpful. And I'm not trying to undermine getting a degree in arts administration or whatever it is. It's very valuable. It gives you good background.
Yeah.
But I think don't use over-preparation as an obstacle to getting where you need to go, because sometimes it's just killing more time when jumping might have gotten you there faster.
Interesting. So I have a question on the over preparation. Do you think it's doing the work as in reading that is true prepared, or do you think it's the reading and then sometimes taking too many notes? Like what do you, like what part
I
of
think
that?
being informed is
Yes,
critical.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
being informed is critical. But, and this does not work for everybody. Most of my job is fundraising. It's kind of half the artistic programming, planning.
But it's also
and
you.
It's raising money.
Yeah.
And
you.
when people want to learn how to fundraise, I would say don't do it my way necessarily, because that works for me. My way is seat of the pants. For some other people, and when people say, "Oh, we need to cultivate Mrs. Jones," and we need to, I go, or we could just call her. Let's just call her. Let's just
Get to the point.
That works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but I'm not afraid of. And I would see somebody on the front page. Cloud9 Shuttle, John Hawkins, was on the front page of the Union Tribune years ago. And I just thought, oh, man, we should be together. We should do something together. And I just called him and said, I don't even know what it is, but I think we should do something together. And we ended up being great business partners in projects or working together and things. So that works for me. It doesn't work for everybody. It has to be your style. But I think knowing, in Econ 101, how they say good enough is best, I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
Know enough, but.
And be courageous.
And be brave. And that's easy to say to someone who maybe is shyer or more, but find the places where you can be brave. It doesn't mean you have to stand in front of a group of people and give a speech. That's not being brave. That might be not brave at all if you're comfortable doing it.
Right. Yeah. Although 90% of the people are not comfortable with that.
Right. But I think it's just trusting what you know and being willing to jump and having some people around you maybe who even can catch you. We did, can I tell you a little thing?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So when COVID came, we didn't know.
No one knew anything.
No. So is this 2-week long thing?
Sure.
Or is it going to be, it certainly wouldn't be more than 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Yeah. And so people in my business started streaming after a while. Not immediately, but after maybe 5 or 6 months. I said immediately, I was interviewed and said immediately, we're going to stick with live performance. I don't know what that means, but we're going to do live performance. And so I keep making these plans, and then we couldn't do this and couldn't do that. So the man who founded Brighton accessory company, said to me, you need to do drive-ins. And I said, oh, and we talked about it. And I said, yeah, I could do that. Maybe I could do that in August. He goes, no, July 1st. I go, oh my God, I can't do that July 1st. And he goes, yeah, you need to do it. And I go, okay, I will do it, but don't let me skin my knees too badly. I just knew he wasn't promising any help, but I knew that I had somebody that I could, it was his idea. I knew if I just jumped off the cliff, and we ended up, without knowing we were doing this, we ended up being the first arts organization in the U.S. to produce live classical music for a live audience. And we knew it because all of the major national publications were writing about us. And we had members of the LA Philharmonic and one member of the San Diego Symphony play in the dirt lot of the parking lot of the Del Mar Fairgrounds, and everybody came in cars, and it became a real thing. And we did that for a couple of years. And it was the way that musicians got to express their voice, and people came together. And they still had to be even 6 feet apart in a car.
Right.
But you could wave, and people started renting convertibles. And so it was a social event. And it was just, we didn't know what we were doing, but we were brave. And I went to the board and said, this could be the fastest path to insolvency because there's no money, but I think it's the right thing to do. And they believed that too. And that's the thing I will always be proudest of.
And we are a community. People want to be with one another.
Right.
that actually provided a space for that to happen as well.
Absolutely.
So I think that's probably, and yeah, of course, everyone read about that. Everyone knew about that if they hadn't been experiencing it. That was one of the most innovative things that I think besides Zoom, that happened because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Finding another way, finding a way to bring people together, but doing it in a way that the government said was safe.
And we started doing Zoom happy hours.
Yeah.
And, so we used those other techniques too.
Sure.
But, and the other thing that happens, and it happened with the internet, and it happened with when the internet came around, got old, and it happened with COVID. Government agencies, very appropriately and understandably, have to just freeze everything.
Yeah,
we don't know. And the musicians union didn't know what streaming looked like or what the rules should be around it. So I think you also have to innovate sometimes around. I don't know if I should say this to you.
Yes,
but I think sometimes you ask forgiveness rather than permission. I'm just going to say it. I'm more of a ask forgiveness than permission type of person, even though we do everything within the rules and we stayed within the COVID protocols. But you can get frozen if you.
Well, and do you know why? Because there's healthy fear and there's unhealthy fear.
That's right.
And I think having the healthy fear is prudent. But having unhealthy fear and being afraid of everything, you'll never have the courage that you need.
That's right.
To actually try new things.
That's right.
You'll be
frozen,
paralyzed.
Yeah.
Yes. So advice. I think this is some advice right here. But
okay,
what is some advice that you would give? You walk into a room of young women and you say, "This is what I think you need to know for you to become successful and find a career that fits you." What would your advice be to them?
I would say a few things. One is really be aware of what you love and where you want to go. Don't be tied to where you think you're supposed to go based on what your education is or everything. Find really what you love. I mean, that you've never worked a day in your life if you're doing what you love is kind of true. Not completely true, but largely true. And the other thing is no is an invitation to look for a different way. I think that is so important. Don't be defeated or deflated by no, or it's just telling you to look for another method. This is probably not really appropriate, but when my son was getting ready to graduate and couldn't that semester because he couldn't get that one class, it was full. So he was going to have to do another semester. And I said, no, people who go in the front door would have to do another semester. I said, how many professors teach this? Well, it was all full. I said, write to every single one of them. Go see every single one of them. Somebody's going to find a way in. It might not be the front door, but there's a side window the window cracked open on the side.
Even if you have to climb through it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it doesn't, if give people an opportunity to help you, do not be afraid to ask for help. That's the biggest one. I should have known. No. If you don't know, you don't know. Ask somebody, get help, look for never worry about looking foolish, because there are things that you know that we don't know, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's great. Great advice.
Go ahead.
So what's next for you? What are you doing next? Anything fun and innovative?
Yeah, I think so. COVID has caused us to have to, people are going to concerts and people are behaving differently. Mm-hmm. So we have to behave differently. We're getting ready this week even to do some focus groups. Our concert master is coming from Philadelphia. He's concert master of the Philadelphia Orchestra. And we're going to just sit down in groups with people and talk about what we're doing. And I love doing, discussion groups to get people's input. So we're doing a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of innovation in the education arena as well as in the performance arena. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I'm trying not to come to the office. I'm not just trying. I don't like to use the word try. I am not coming to the office Mondays and Fridays. It empowers staff to kind of be more independent without me instead of me, my very present presence.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start after this many years, working more well, I haven't even talked to the board about this, but I want to work a little more remotely.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to leave mainly Mozart, but I do ever, or not anytime soon, but I do want to do it differently for me. And I think staying aware of what what I need has not been my strength. But in terms of family, relationship, you know, all of that, I want to balance. I want to keep remembering to balance.
And finding different ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you so much. Really enjoyed our conversation today.
Me too.
Thanks for being a guest. And I hope that our listeners have heard all of your wonderful ideas and the way that you have moved forward and continue to innovate. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learned how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
The incredible curated SheEO conversation you just enjoyed was brought to you by SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate and a company that upholds its core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey. To learn more about SmartStop, please visit smartstopselfstorage.com.
Cloudcast Media.